75 years ago today, Jackie Robinson made history and broke the color barrier in professional baseball. And here in 2022, as today's episode goes live on April 15th, the 75th anniversary of his first major league game, we have a special episode of the Soxcast with me, Tim Best, as we celebrate all the great African-American players who have come through our organization, as we have players from 2016 all the way until this past year. So my panel for tonight, we have Franklin Jennings, Ryan Green, and Justin Segers from the 2016 team. Jennings, one of three current Blue Sox Hall of Famers from the 2018 team. Leon Finney, DJ Staszak, and another Blue Sox Hall of Famer, Khalyd Cox. And from the 2021 team, most recent addition, current VCU Ram, Scottie O'Bryan. Gentlemen, welcome to this panel. I really appreciate, you guys making the time to be a part of this. I really do. And so first and foremost, any one of y'all that wants to take the lead on this, feel free to do so. But, growing up, as an African-American boy, man, what was the importance of Jackie Robinson? Obviously not in your time, but obviously you learned a lot about him and how he was a trailblazer, but how important was he to shaping you as a baseball player and even as a person to an extent? Anyone want to take the lead on that?
I'll go. First, I'm going to say it's still really hard to be a black baseball player. I don't think that's going to change anytime soon. That being said, without Jackie Robinson, it doesn't happen, right? And also being said, if it wasn't him, it would have been someone else. But I think it's super important to look back on the fact that he was able to stick out and endure everything that he had to deal with. I know myself, I appreciate everything he dealt with, and we're still dealing with some of it today. Don't let that go unnoticed. But he made it a lot easier for us to be able to play the game that we all love and continue to strive to make our lives better with baseball.
Anyone else want to add to that before we move on?
I think Jackie Robinson going through that was it was amazing, and him going through that, it opened the door for us. And with things like a color barrier, when it deals with race or just gender or whatever, like when it's not the norm and it's something new, somebody's gonna have to go through those trials and tribulations for the people that's down the line. And I don't want to just celebrate him. I want to celebrate all the people that went after him that still had to face the stuff he faced. Because, in a sense, I feel we stand on the shoulders of them, of those guys. Because we knew they had the talent. They had the Negro League. Negro Leagues came and played the MLB, and they would beat their teams all the time. So it's just the exposure. And I know, and like Jennings said, it is tough being a black baseball player now. Because I would say less than 10% of the MLB is black. When there was a time where it was fruitful. It had a bunch of black people. Willie Stargell, Doc Ellis. Who was? It's a dude named Gene Klein. He lives in my hometown.
Joe Morgan.
I went to high school. Yeah, so it's just Joe Morgan. Yeah, everybody up into King Griffey Jr. to Mookie Betts, Because we showing, every black person is showing that we have, we're opening a different door, So I think, so it's it's something good and it's we appreciate the start. I want us to always appreciate the start in all the process from 1947 to 2022, so.
Of course. Yeah. So obviously with this particular organization, of the three current Hall of Famers, obviously he's going to be expanding a lot in the very near future, starting with this year. But of the three Hall of Famers, two of them, both of which are here, are African-Americans. And there have been a lot of, and not just those two, a lot of prominent African-American players just in the last 5 years. Starting with the 2016 team, the West Division Championship team. Obviously, Frank was the captain and the leadoff man who set the tone. But in terms of the guys, one guy in particular who shut the door. Frank set the tone, but one guy shut the door and that's Ryan Green, who is also part of this panel. So Ryan, for you, you had a lot of, teammates like Frank, like Justin, who's also here, like Anthony Young as well. So, how great for you, and Justin, you can follow that up because I want to hear from you about the regarding 2016 and the prominence of African American players on the roster. How great was it to have an ownership group that wanted to feature guys like you at the forefront, be faces of the franchise?
I mean, honestly, it was great. I've never had a group really embrace like that before, and just coming in late. Yeah, they call me new. Being in the pen with those guys with years under their belt, really helped me. Like, just pick the brain about what they think about when they go out there, like how they, and just how they approach their, and comment on the Jackie Robinson piece. I mean, yeah, obviously we wouldn't be where we are today without his actions, but at the same time, just like looking back at what he did. And I mean, we go to Cooperstown every year, and I thought that was one of the coolest experiences I've ever done playing baseball. But just, seeing what he did just gives us today, like, no reason and just all the courage in the world to just try whatever we want to try. You know what I mean? Because he opened that door and he was fearless. It just, just shows what you can do when you really put your best foot forward at it.
Justin, want to follow up?
Just as far as 2016, that was probably the most people of color I've ever played with in my life. Like you said, Frank was the leader, set the tone, kind of kept us on our toes, held us accountable. But all in all, I feel like our squad was just a team that came together on all angles. We started off so hot, people didn't play. People were mad, but people like Frank was in our ears, telling us, how things are supposed to be, and like you said, being a true leader.
And which is great because you want to have like a guy who obviously. Taylor Olmstead was a guy who, obviously, he stood out as a guy who was the first ever 3-year player in Utica. But you have a guy like Frank, who is the energy, can set the tone and be a vocal leader. But at the same time, again, you got a guy like Ryan Green, who was a dominant closer. I mean, dominated in the postseason. And then fast forward to 2 years later, 2018, not a playoff team, but still a really good team. But you want to talk about prominence of players, POCs on that team. I mean, not just African Americans. I mean, Isaiah Torres was a incredible hitter. Coco Hussein. So I want to hit Leon and DJ on this. I might as well hit Lee first. So for you, I mean, we want to talk about Justin, playing on probably the most people of color on the same team as him. Was that similar experience for you in 2018?
No, I'm from Philly, and I played on the RBI team.
Right. Okay, I got you now.
So we were gross too, but
Yeah, I'm from Palmetto, and I played with Braden RBI, and we had a lot of people color on our team.
Right.
Yeah.
And with African Americans on a team is different. Like the vibe is different, the energy is different. I don't know. I feel like baseball is more fun when I'm playing with, people that look like me in a sense. I don't know. It's just, it's a great feeling to be able to, I go to a PWI right now, and don't get me wrong. Like I like it here, but I can't relate to them the same on and off the field, So when I play with people that look like me, it's different,
Yeah, like you feel like more of that sense of comfort, if that makes sense.
Yeah, in a sense, yeah. I don't know. We joke around different. We play different. I don't know.
Tim Anderson's a very, very good example of that.
Yeah.
Of
Amen.
Hey,
being able to be
perfect.
himself.
Yeah,
Right?
Franklin and Justin, you could probably test this, but like maybe besides a couple players on our team in 2016, like even if they weren't black, they fit the culture. Everyone was cool with each other. And I mean, that's why the team did so well. We could really count on each other. And if someone didn't perform, like, you knew the next guy, like in the pen, we had like 4 guys, you know, could put up zeros. It was crazy. Like, I've never on a team like that.
I think it all goes back to George and the front office. I think they've allowed, at least for us, they allowed me to be who I was, right? Like, they never asked me to change. I was allowed to talk to other teams how I wanted to. I was like, if somebody was talking to us, they knew that I was coming back at them, and there was no stopping that. And I think that me having the confidence, knowing that my front office, my head coach, my manager was going to have my back, I think it's a lot easier to play the game that way.
100%.
Black, white, Puerto Rican, whatever you are, I think it's a lot easier to go about life knowing that the people that are in your corner support you.
And we kept it so loose as long as you came focused, especially when you came focused. And we played bocce ball in the bullpen. It was awesome. It was fun.
But like Leon's saying, there's not many Black coaches in college baseball, right? So
100%.
I think that Leon saying being able to play with people of color around you makes it easier. I think it's really hard to recruit people of color if you're not Black, if you're not Spanish, right? So I think that a lot of it comes back to the culture and knowing the culture. As a white guy, as a Puerto Rican, as a Black guy, as long as you know the culture and you can form a relationship, I think we can all attest to that. If we're playing for somebody that we know cares about us, Black, white, Puerto Rican, whatever they are, we're going to give everything we got.
Yeah, I agree with that 100%.
Yeah. And by the way, I wanted to get DJ to, talk about, talking about obviously the comfort of playing with guys like, Lee and Khalyd, and even like guys that aren't here, like Jay Wash, for example. I mean, that's one guy I think of immediately off the bat. So, I mean, what's that comfort level like? And obviously having an ownership that obviously not just, tolerates you guys, but loves you guys and wanted you to just be yourselves out there and not really wanting to mold you in their image per se.
Stay there. Where you at?
I'm sorry. Tim, you cut out. Can you repeat the question? I'm sorry.
Nah, you're good. I mean, how important was it to have that level of comfort with guys like Lee, Khalyd, and even guys who aren't here like Jay Wash, and then obviously have an ownership group that not just tolerates you but embraces you guys and doesn't try to hold you back and wants you to be yourselves and not mold you in their image.
I think when we first stepped into the clubhouse, I can personally say, for speaking on behalf of like Leon and Jay Wash, when you walk into the clubhouse and you see everyone in there, you kind of just you attract more toward each other, because you look at a lot of African Americans that play the game of baseball, like a lot of these guys were saying earlier, like, it's tough, you know what I mean? So you can relate to these guys a little bit more. And, when I was at JUCO, it was tough. Like, me and Leon went to the same JUCO in the middle of Scranton, Pennsylvania. And we were just kind of the outcasts. And when I was going through the whole recruiting process, that's one of the reasons why I chose an HBCU school down south, is because, he recruited me more of the person who I am. And I knew that he understood my cultural backgrounds and my ethnicity and just the diversity part of where I've come from as a human being, you know what I mean? Whereas I look at some of the coaches that were recruiting me, like Coach Giordano when he was at Pitt, and Ty Neal when he was at Cincinnati. It was more of it wasn't really a player coach relationship, which was honestly really important, because I mean, there's some guys in here that went to JUCO like Ryan and Scottie. Like they know, like, you know, those you're really close with the guys on your team and your coaches, and you know, being able to have that down at Southern was definitely huge. And it's an HBCU, so you know, those are the guys you're going to be with for, you know, most likely the rest of your college career. So those guys understand, you know, your just everything as a person in a baseball aspect of what it's like to be an African-American baseball player.
So translating now to 2021, you know, Scottie O'Brien was on that team, and you know, there were, you know, again, talk about like you may not have had as many POCs on the team. However, the culture still was something that you could fit into more. So, you know, like for you, Scottie, you know, what was it? You know, how much could you say about, you know, like how the organization embracing you and not wanting to, you know, hold you back and letting you be yourself?
Yeah, I mean, like you said, they let me be myself. Half the games I wore a do-rag under my hat. The other half I would wear a headband. I mean, I was just able to be myself, and they never said anything to me negative about my appearance, because at the end of the day, it's not about that. It's about playing baseball. And like growing up in high school, I would try to wear headbands sometimes, and I would have fans of opposing teams or umpires come up to me and tell me to take it off because they thought it was related to like things in the streets. My first school, I had to cut my dreadlocks off. So it's just like small things like that kind of, I'm sure that a lot of guys on this podcast have experienced things like that. But at Utica, I was able to, like I said, be myself. I was wearing a do-rag out there, and just like having that comfortability to wear and be who I want makes anyone play better. So I was definitely very happy to have that kind of just free will to be me on and off the field and help it translate to the game.
Yeah, and trust me, anytime you lay down a bunt, ain't no chance in hell anyone's going to throw you out at first. I'll tell you that, and that much is a guarantee. I'll tell you that much. So I know DJ talked about the HBCU experience. I know Khalyd, you had the same thing over at Savannah State. You know, what more can you say about your HBCU experience and the importance of it in your career?
I think going to HBCU is it was an amazing experience, and I think it's important that if a Black person or a person of color wants to go to an HBCU, I think you should go, because I feel the college experience is different. I feel because like you learning more about your culture than I would say then my bad, hold on one second. You're learning more about your culture than I would think at a PWI. Because you're HBCU, we weren't learning about the historics of the university. Well, who founded the university? More often than not, it's founded by a Black person for Black people. You know, and before, the PWIs didn't let Black people in. So I feel like it's very important to go to your HBCU, because before when there was segregation, you wasn't allowed to go to a PWI. You wasn't allowed to go to Alabama. You wasn't allowed to go to Florida, Georgia, wherever. You went to Tuskegee. You went to Savannah State. You went to Southern, like Staszak.
Texas Southern.
Southern University in Louisiana. You went to all these different HBCUs because we wasn't allowed there. It was like, it was law. You can't forget that. So now you want to sell it. Now it is where you can, all the schools are integrated. You know, Black kids go to all the schools they want to go to because to fulfill a dream, and whether it's their dream school or help them get to the next level. That's their dream. But we should not ever forget what the HBCUs did for us. And going to like playing in the sports aspect, we had a Black coach, and it was a little different. You know, being playing for a Black coach other than playing for a white coach, because he did have a little experience with the culture. He's seen different things. He was around different things. He understood the situation that people of color might not understand. It is nothing wrong with that. I'm not calling him ignorant or anything, but It's just sometimes you don't understand the culture because you're not of the culture. And then when you of the culture, my head coach was from LA of all places, so he really understood culture because all he lived around growing up is people of color. And he went to Grambling State University. So he went to a HBCU. So he had that knowledge, that experience, that understanding of going to HBCU as he coached at a HBCU. We had our fair share of Black people of color. It's probably like half and half. But most times with the people of color, we understood our culture. We stick together. Because we know when one rides, we all ride. So we gotta be. I'm not against anybody else, but we gotta be for us,
Yeah. So, by the way, I gotta ask about your how you guys compare to the prominence of POCs on your opponents. I feel like for 2021, I think Scottie, very rarely, except for maybe Watertown, if anything, they didn't have a lot of POCs. So, if anything, Utica and maybe Watertown were probably in the minority of the league that had that much prominence.
Yeah, probably. There really wasn't too much diversity across the league, at least this last summer. But yeah, Utica we were definitely up there. Guys like me and Louis, even like TK. But yeah.
Eddie too.
Eddie, yeah, of course. Gio.
Yep, amen to that. And in 2018, I feel like, with how many, POCs you had on your team, you're probably, you're looking at the other side and you're barely seeing any dash of color on any of the other teams.
Yeah, in our division, we had Adirondack, them twin boys, they were Hispanic. And then you had Mohawk Valley had Hernandez and
he's gross.
A kid named JoJo. Hernandez, he was cold. I'll give him that. He was cold with the bat.
Yeah,
he's tearing up at UH right now.
Where he playing?
At Houston.
Oh, so he playing. Because I know they had a little All-American dude that was in front of him.
Yeah, no, I know. He went to Albany, went to San Jack. He's been at Houston last 2 years. He's been tearing up.
All right, who were those two? Elmira in 2016. The Let It Bang guy. Let It Bang. Let It Bang.
Oh, yo, they had Pertine and Dixon. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Yo,
Those kids
but
were
I look at Rob Pertine and I'm like, yo, nobody tried to change who he was, bro. He walked up to the dish with a lollipop in his mouth. He got 100 hits in the
he was
nasty.
In the outfield, absolutely gross. I never seen something like that.
He was all right.
Or no,
Mike Warren was better.
No, they had one guy who flew around out there.
That was Dixon.
Yeah, he was.
You speaking of flying around?
What about?
Hey Tim, I gotta ask you a question. What about Cedric Mullins? Because I know he played for the Utica. Yeah, so I'm like.
By the way, how could we not talk about? At this point, every one of y'all knows that Cedric Mullins came through here. So if that doesn't say that Utica should be a place, if you're an African American player, you're looking for somewhere to play summer collegiate baseball, and you see a guy like Cedric Mullins came through here, you gotta be thinking, oh my God, I should come here.
Now, nobody knew who Cedric Mullins was back then. He played there a year before me, and nobody was talking about him.
For real?
Nobody was talking about
crazy stats.
You look at him now, and it's yo, he's a dog, right? There's no doubt in anybody's mind he's a dog.
Man, I've been new, man. I've been.
He hit like 460 in the league though. So I'm like,
bro. All I'm saying is nobody again. He was there. Tim, he was there the year before me, right?
Yeah. No, he was there in 14. He was there and we won 9 games all summer. 9.
2 years before me.
Oh.
And nobody was talking about him.
No.
The only people I heard about was the Messier kid. Mike Messier.
Yeah, Messier.
Left-handed pitcher. When I walked into the locker room and I saw 5 other black dudes, I was like, yo, I didn't even know black people knew about Utica.
I didn't. Oh,
where's this?
By the way, I gotta point out, Actually, no, I can't talk about the extra base hit salute that the 18 guys did. I can't, because you threw up the U, but not this U. It's something different. I'm not going to touch on that. But no, for real. I mean, I feel like, like Frank. I mean, you talk about like looking at, like you go to the clubhouse, you see five other African Americans. You're like, oh, like, what was that like? Eye opening, right?
That was fire. Like Leon said, like,
It's
playing
a
with dudes.
feeling, man.
Yeah,
Swear.
playing
Bro,
with dudes that look
chilling.
like you.
I get the ball. So like after that, like let's say you hit a bomb, you get to celebrate with your boys after that. Like,
Yeah.
that's-
Hey,
I
they
didn't
already know
do
what the
that.
camera.
I never hit bombs. But like when my boys would hit bombs, I'd be chilling. Like, and nobody ever said anything about that there.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
And
we
honestly,
could be-
Chad like took me under his wing like immediately. He was basically like a senior, and he told me everything he knew. Like he grew up around Klay Thompson's family, and like told me all about his pitching experience and what to do and how to say the right things and do the right. I mean, it was awesome.
and like we talk about doing and saying the right things, and I'll be honest with you, like 80% of that summer, people probably thought I was doing or saying the wrong thing. But I was doing and saying it around them and for them. So they were trusting me.
Yeah. Well, everything was working, so I mean,
So
there's
like
trusted.
Like I think about when the benches cleared against Elmira because they couldn't beat us. Right? Like I legitimately think they went 1-9 that
by one run, and he goes up. I go up and in, like to go 3-0 on the kid.
Yeah.
Like, hey, I'm not trying to hit him. Like, goes a high head.
I think that the bench is clear because we played the game the way we played it.
They had my back. I was surprised, but I was like, wow, they got my back. That's so cool.
Bro. Like
it was so cool.
My thing is like you could talk about black, white, Spanish, you could talk about all that. But when it came down to it, we were here and we had everybody's back. It didn't matter.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Like, even the people who weren't black or anything, like, they all had our back, Like,
I mean, you had a 5'7" Canadian guy at second base who had your back in Baldinelli.
I had Bear Bellamy. Come on, the kid's name's Bear. We were bros.
That's facts. And by the way, I mean, like, listen, I had your backs all along, Scottie.
Yeah.
The Watertown game where he struck out Lou and showed him up, and I mean, I'm gonna let this cat out of the bag. I was flipping him off for the press box. I had your back.
Yeah,
Tell me this is my house.
That was hilarious. That was one of the best moments of the summer.
And if that doesn't show I got all the years back, I don't know what will. I'm being real with you.
What did he do to show him up?
Like, he struck him out. Like, by the way, talk about PGCBL umpiring. This umpire calls a home run for Lou that goes 30 feet foul to the left.
Yeah.
And they called it a home run, and then they called it back, and then they resumed the at bat, and the kid strikes out. And the kid struck him out, and he just celebrated, like get back to the dugout. Like, that's what got me up in arms. I'm just like, I'm not gonna do the gesture, but you know what I'm getting at.
Did Lou pimp the homer?
Oh, it's Lou. He's not pimping anything.
No, he doesn't pimp anything.
I know. So I mean,
I know it was foul.
You can't.
But, I mean, you just don't shoot. You don't show
who they are. You can't.
It's just like
you were never mad at me for when I hit doubles and did whatever I did.
Because you were the man. I mean, literally every time you went to the box, I was literally doing the like you every single time.
But that dude probably thought he was the man too. Like,
I mean, or me.
But he wasn't. He wasn't the man.
Hitter. Me staring down every single hitter I struck out that summer.
Yeah, that was sick. That was sick.
Every single one.
But like that, I think that's where. First of all, I'm gonna say I think that's where we lose young black baseball players. Right? Is, and I'm not saying you, Tim, but I'm saying people in general. Talking about showing people up, blah blah blah. Like maybe the dude was just feeling himself. When somebody comes down and catches a one-handed catch in the NFL, we don't talk about, yo, he spiked that ball so hard. He's trying to show him up.
I mean, it's a big part of Latin baseball too.
Yeah, exactly. Like
I mean, this is a full-on pasty white dude. He's celebrating a strikeout for the second out of the bottom of the third.
and nobody said nothing to Tim Anderson when he pimped a homer and threw his bat 50 feet back to the
Nah, a lot
dugout
of
in
people
April.
did.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I
mean,
think
I
if
get
we're
it.
going to police something, then we're going to continue to lose black baseball players.
Yeah, like just to be honest, this is real stuff. If you don't want me flipping my bat, strike me out.
Don't
If
throw
you
the ball
don't-
middle.
Exactly.
If you don't
throw
want
it in
me
the hot
yelling
zone.
at you after I punch you out, don't
Yeah,
strike
hit
out.
the ball. Hit the ball. Like it's win or lose. And if when you win,
That's how
winners do what they want.
Okay.
Winners do what they want.
Yeah.
Losers got to do better next time. That's what it is. Like
I
if
mean-
you have a problem with that, you can't do that because now especially in baseball, it's kind of getting new and we in the new times. If you
Mhm.
like that, if you feel sensitive about that, stop playing baseball, bro. Stop playing all sports because people gonna be excited when they win.
It's
So
like there's a level to it.
what did you mad for?
I think there's a level to it. I will say I think
In a,
there's
se-
a
what
level to
I
it.
don't know. Well, you can't be like arrogant about it, but if you're
No, like-
having your
like-
fun and you,
But it's part of the game,
I'm
though.
back
That's
to
so
the
what you
baseball
think?
game.
Where's the level though? Where's the level at?
That's the question, right? But like I'm coaching a baseball game this weekend. Don't look at the numbers. We got swept this weekend. I'm gonna just tell you that we got swept.
Okay.
And in game 2, our 3-hitter hit a grand slam to tie the game 7-7, and he pimped the hell out of it. Right, and I'm okay with that. And his next AB, he punches out.
Yeah.
The pitcher waves at him. That like you can't do stuff like that, in my opinion.
Whoa, how? Because look,
Why?
old boy did.
You
You just said a
Bro,
pimp
if you
job.
did
What
that-
you just said, old boy did a pimp job.
He
He
picked
did
Yeah.
a pimp job. No,
But
I'm
I
being,
think,
yeah, he pimped,
like-
yeah. So if
I'm
old boy
like-
waves,
Nah,
okay.
I think Waving's too far.
So you a position player. I can see it. That's why I understand. But
So-
you take
so-
offense to that because
hold
you're
on.
not pitching. You know what I mean?
Let me preface that by saying I think waving is too far if you don't want something said to you.
Waving's too far. You can grunt. You can yell.
Right. Like
No.
if
anything too far, if you don't want something said to you.
nah,
I mean, Corny.
that's
corny.
true. Listen, I'm just telling you, if get mad at me for pimping it, wave at me all you want. If you wave at me, I'm coming at you. or I'm telling my pitcher, let them know that that's not something you do.
So wait, you allowed to pimp the hell out of it.
You
Right.
could pimp strikeouts. I'm
Hey.
not saying you can't pimp strikeouts as a pitcher.
Talk to him, Lee. Talk to him, Lee.
That's what I'm saying. What if that's the way how he celebrate? You feel me? I walk off the mound. What if I look you down? Like
That's
this,
fine.
all
That's
the way,
fine.
all the way till you sit down type shit. I just
I'm with you
can't.
when you're right, my boy.
Do that. Look at me.
But
I'm okay
doing
with
this
that.
is too much.
Don't do that.
What if I blow you like wow? Like
Definitely don't do that.
Because you're gonna get. Hey, look,
I'll let
that
you-
ain't okay.
if
But
you
when I
just
hit a
try
bomb
to game up,
and I blow you a kiss,
that's what
okay,
I'm
we
saying. I'm gonna let
straight.
you
'Cause
know.
I'm gonna hit a bomb and I'm gonna blow you a
nothing
kiss because you blew me a kiss. You out there?
It's
Nah.
and that's the beauty of like
I think football, basketball, any sport, yo, blowing a kiss or waving at somebody is wild, bro.
Just watch it.
It's wild. It's
I mean,
wild. But you like
got Tyreek
it's
Hill
golf,
throwing
bro.
up the
Forget
deuce.
it.
I'm gonna say Tyreek Hill. That boy throws up the peace sign.
That's
You talking
wild.
about blowing
That's
people
better, you
away?
know,
I mean, if y'all
catch
watch,
him. That's wild.
Okay.
if y'all watch the playoff
Okay.
game,
Can
if
you
y'all watch
stop
the
him
playoff
doing
game
it?
against the Bills, Tyreek threw the peace sign while the defender was ahead of him.
That
Yeah.
was so fire.
That's like
That was
high,
dope.
but it's. I mean, Tyreek's that dude. Period.
Listen,
But
Yeah.
I got
I'm
put
gonna
on.
tell you right now. I love the confidence. I
Yeah.
love the fact that you punch me out and you wave at me. I love it.
mhm.
All I'm saying is that it's there has to be a point to
Mhm.
where it's too much.
But once you pimp
Yeah.
it,
There
Same with
is.
basketball.
That's-
wait, once you pimp it, all of that
Same with backflip.
it'll go out the door, bro. Because now it's like, damn, you just pimped it. You just threw the bat, walked. You know what I'm saying? Took your time. Now it's
All
like,
right, so
bet. It's like that now. Now I'm on a
What's
map like this.
hitter? What's too much as a hitter?
Too much as a
That's a good
hitter.
question.
Too much as a hitter is hitting the ball and standing there as the ball is getting out the park. Or you just watching it go.
No.
That's
That's
too,
Ooh,
that's
that's
too much.
hey, I don't know if that's too much. I don't know if that's too much.
You're admiring it at that point. You're like, damn, I just smoked the ball. And that's-
Okay, look, hey, look.
That's
Hey,
bothering me.
hey,
Like,
Lee,
you
if you
turning
throw
me
it in a
up.
hot zone, come on.
You turning me up.
Okay, let it turn you up. But
throw
you threw it
it
in a hot zone.
zone.
You threw it in a hot zone. You can't get mad at me for what I did.
I'm not
Yeah, that's what
mad.
I'm
You
saying.
just bringing it in baseball. Let's be real. Baseball is boring.
It
No
is.
doubt.
You know what I'm
Until you
saying?
make it competitive.
So once
Until you
do
really
that,
think about it, until you really get that
telling
mental
me
side.
exactly. You after you do that, you telling me, okay, bet like this
Listen,
is the type of game we get into now.
I agree.
Oh yeah.
This is the type
But-
of game we playing now.
Alright, so if you wave at somebody, you expect them to just walk back to the dugout?
No. Once you start the pimping and waving, now that's the type of game we have, and now I
Yeah.
expect it now.
And that's fine. I'm okay with that.
I love that type of game.
Listen, my point is,
Like it's more personalized.
I
You know,
think- I
that
think
makes sense, right?
different. I think it's
But what's the
different.
difference in any other
No.
sport though?
I
Nothing.
think it's different if a black dude does it or if a white dude does it.
I mean, Carlos,
Okay, I can see what you mean.
Carlos Correa's younger brother pimped a ball off me like 400 feet when he was on the bar. I go home. I go on Instagram. Carlos put on his story and everyone hit me up about it. I mean, it is what it is, you know. Like he did it. I let the pitch middle. He watched it. It was badass. You know. Move on.
By the way,
Ryan,
can I just point out?
I'm with you when you're right.
Like, I would just like to point out, Khalid hit a ball that went on the road down the route line in right field near the hospital.
That
Khalid
was,
was different, bro.
I was on
that
that.
Khalid
I
was
mean,
different.
I don't even think
I was-
Khalid.
I
He
was
might have
alive
admired that,
too,
but it's
bro.
not like he's still. I don't. There's no way. No, Casey. I know you don't stand at the plate. You watched it a little bit, but you still rounded it. Like you weren't just taking your sweet time.
A little bit, but
Oh, boy, your strut around the bases is mad slow, bro. I'm not gonna lie. You will watch it. You will hit it because you got that Bo Jackson swing. You be here with it. Watch it. Look at that. You just start jogging. You was on my team, so I'm lit. I'm like, let's go. You hear me?
yeah.
But as an opposing player, I'm like, bro, I gotta smack him next AB. Like,
Look. He threw it in the hot zone. He cannot be mad at what he do. What happens after that? Because you look, if you throw it somewhere where I don't hit the ball. You can look if you throw it somewhere where I don't hit the ball and I hit it out and I'm doing all this crazy stuff. Okay, you can be mad. But you threw it in a place where I smash it, like I killed the ball. So it's like, what can you be mad about?
that whole summer, the whole box was a hot zone for you, bro. So it's
For the guy.
Actually.
I
So
gotta-
Frank, you would be
But
opposed to
look,
one.
this is on the flip side with like pictures or
I-
whatever. Huh?
Yeah. I would be one of my pitchers. Like if Green,
If those were reversed on that weekend series you guys just played last Saturday, dude comes up, let's say top of the seventh, pieces up a home run, bottom of the ninth, case that same kid to end the game and waves him goodbye. Like that.
I live for that.
see, I'm not with that. The wave. You could look, you could even talk shit.
I'm waving.
But what? But
Yeah, bro. Give him the Dame.
Well, if you finish,
Yeah, right. Give him the Dame.
if you're
but
finished,
the bat flip has to amount to something as the wave. It's low key the same thing.
the
The bat
same
flip
thing.
gotta be the same as the wave.
Tossing that bit. I just
It's
smoked
bro.
that.
If I hit the ball 425 in the gap and I pimp it and I look at it and I'm walking down with my bat, I look in your first base dugout, I say, I flip my bat, say, go fucking get it and round the base.
Well,
And then-
this isn't for
But
kids.
But that's
anymore.
not what happened, bro. That's not,
No, say that. Golly.
Like, bro,
Golly.
that's not what I said, bro.
I mean, if I,
Honest, wow.
No,
Come
no,
on, bro.
dude, hold up. First off.
That's badass. I'm not gonna. That is badass.
Waving and bat flip is not the same thing. We're not gonna start that. We not
What's
gonna start
worse?
that.
What's worse?
What? The waving is worse.
No, it's not.
Way
You just
worse,
added
bro.
on to
Nah.
it. You just
I'm
added on to it. So now when I do something,
Imagine-
I have to wave. I have to wave.
I'm
I
a
have to
PO,
wave.
bro. All I do is pitch. That's
Yeah.
you just tore my ego apart with that. I'm finna
All right.
imagine.
Look. All right,
I'm a
you could have
pro.
saved your ego by not throwing it in the hot
No,
zone.
you
That's
need-
all I'm just.
Yeah.
Not
Yeah,
the
what-
serious
Hey,
right now,
All
bro.
I'm saying
It's basic.
if Ryan Green, you punched out the dude to end the game, and to go to the perfect game championship. If
Yeah.
he would have waved at the dude, me and Ryan would have had a conversation.
For real.
No, don't
Yeah.
do that.
So y'all had a conversation, or y'all was going to
And, and you also would have had the entire city of Elmira trying to fight you.
Yeah, but
They
It
would have
don't
been
even
with you.
matter.
They
Is
would have got
Leon
mad.
waving after you close the
Hey,
game?
personally, as a pitcher, if I can't inside
Right.
the game, I'm more like straight off there slow, like strolling. You're gonna see me hang my neck.
Yeah, bro. That's
But-
okay.
But
Yeah,
no, that's what I'm saying. That's how I usually am. But if it's bro, when tensions is high, you got it, bro. You got to expect the worst. Like, if you pimp the ball to tie the game and you let the whole stadium know, and I have a chance to show you back up, I'm gonna show it. And that's not even how I am.
But it wasn't the same pitcher. Like it was new.
No,
dude
no,
came-
no.
But it's his teammate though.
this kid to get to 3-0, like I buzzed him inside on accident. 2 outs, 3-0, buzzed him inside, 2-run game. And then 3 straight fastballs straight through him. I mean, untucked the jersey, yelled my shit,
Yeah.
tapped on the catcher. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's fair. You got to be hyped for yourself. You know what I mean?
That was fire. That was
Who's
so
that?
fire.
Yeah, like y'all gotta let the pitchers do what they do too, because we as hitters is coming acceptable. Like
We
if a
got our
pitcher
own
can't do a
style.
little something, yeah, let them do
Right.
what they do. They
Amen.
over there, you know what I mean? But let them do what they do. Like and I think going back to what y'all was saying about the baseball being boring, if you can't have that fire, you can't have that swag. It's not cockiness, it's confidence. If you don't got that confidence,
Yeah.
you just like the game becomes boring because now everybody's cookie cutter, everybody's robot. We have emotions, we have
And
feelings, we're people.
suck,
So we're
too.
gonna be excited for, you know what I mean? There's gonna be
See,
times
yeah.
when you
I
on
think
top of the
brings up a
world
good
doing all
point.
this. You feel
I
me?
think
And then
you
you're
gotta
gonna be on the
a little
bottom of
cocky
the
to play
ocean.
this game, yo. I think to be good
No,
at
you gotta
this
be
game,
crazy. You gotta be a little insane because you'll
to
be
be good
you'll
at
be on
this
top of
game,
the world one month
I
and
think you
the
gotta
next
be a
month you
little cocky.
You have to.
On the
And-
mound,
good
on
at
the
it.
mound, me versus him. You know what I mean? Like I gotta beat him. I gotta be better than him. You know, it's me versus him, 1-on-1. You know,
Yeah,
Who's-
and by the way, we want to talk about, making the game fun and exciting. I mean, I probably had more fun last season than I ever had before. And it was because,
Crazy.
Scotty, you could talk
2016
about it. I
was
mean,
so
with,
much fun.
the whole pump it up thing. It wasn't to show anybody, like, you're just showing off, you're just having fun. Like that's what it is at the end of the day. And the fact that, again, we're encouraging this kind of behavior of like, yeah, have some fun. We're not encouraging you to be robotic. If we were encouraging you to be robotic, you probably would have wanted to be done playing baseball forever after 1 week, right?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, that's the thing about baseball today. I think that, as a hitter, for me, if I hit a home run, I'm gonna flip the bat, and if I get struck out, like going back to what we were just talking about, like I don't really care if the pitcher waves at me. Like obviously, as a competitor, it's gonna fire me up, but it's kind of just like that's how the game is today, which I love, and which I'm thinking that more and more Black kids and just people in general are taking up the game more, is because it's fun that way. Like it's more competitive. You can throw the bat 100 feet into the air. Pitcher can do a cartwheel off the mound. There was like a video that was going around the other week of a pitcher that ended the game and then did a front flip or back flip or whatever. Like at NCAA, like D1 baseball, like that's just how the game is today. And as like someone that's playing in college right now, like I love it. Like seeing a team like Tennessee, like how much fun they're having. I mean, they're good, and they're good because of confidence and cocky. I mean, you can decide which one is like what it is, but at the end of the day, they're playing the game how they want to. They're throwing the bat, they're touching home plate with a pointer finger, they're doing what they love, and they don't care what anybody else thinks. And I think that's great for the game of baseball.
And it's really funny. All 7 of you in here, you were part of. Well, actually, it was 8, and I don't know what happened to somebody in here, but you were all part of successful teams. Frank, Ryan, and Justin were on the West Division Championship team that went to the final. The 2018 team, you got hosed by a garbage playoff format, and Scotty's team won the Central Division Championship. all three of you winning records and won at least 24 games in the regular season. We're well over 500. So, I mean, do you think because the organization let you play loose and let you be yourselves, they brought the best out of you?
Yes, 100%.
Absolutely. I mean, you play the game, you know, not only to win, but you know, you also got to play, you know, for fun. And, you know, like, you know, Sky was saying earlier, with like the cultural like things like the do-rags, the headbands, like you see Ronald Acuna in league all swagged out. Like they let him be him. And I think that's a key component. You just got to let your players be them, because I mean, if you can allow them to do that, you get the best out of them, I personally think.
And don't get it twisted. Winning is fun.
Absolutely. And it's more fun when you're having fun with your boys, and you know,
exactly.
you know, and when you're winning, you know, you have more fun, you know, like, you know.
Exactly. I think that's where it comes in. Like you talk about the success of the Blue Sox, and I can almost guarantee you the teams that had the most fun were also probably winning the most.
Right. And it's a confidence booster. When, you know, you have confidence, you have more fun. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So,
yeah, I came nervous as I possibly could. I'm like, yo, I had a 5 ERA, pitched like 6 innings at JUCO, D3. You know, I'm pitching with D1 guys. Like, how am I going to do this? It's going to be miserable. But they came in, first game, gave up 2 runs in 1 inning. I was like, oh, thank God. And guys embraced it. And then the rest is amazing.
Mm-hmm.
It was just a ride. It was
a
awesome.
lot more loose too when you're in your comfort zone, and you know you're around guys that you know are on the same page as you as well.
Yeah.
And by the way, I gotta ask too, like, what's the importance of, you know, having your guys like me, the white guys on the team who are, you know, supporting you guys on your side? And literally, I mean, you know, like if you're in a situation where you get a benches clearing ball that might break out, that they got your back no matter what.
Yeah, I mean, most teams are going to be mostly white, so it's key that you have guys on your side, or else you're going to have a very divided team.
Wait, I have something to say. So this is this kid on my team right now. So I go to a PWI. This kid wears a do-rag to the field. He's white. So I'm like, I'm not thinking nothing of it. I'm like, bro, why? And he has his fake like Cuban link, bro.
Is it Clint Frazier?
You just goofy, bro. Like you just goofy.
I mean, I feel like low key though, we have to low key accept, because they might be just embracing the black culture.
Oh no, bro, he just goofy, bro.
He's goofy with it. With that, bro. He got waves. Does he have waves? Does he have waves?
No, bro, nah. If he did it on Utica, it'd be funny because everybody clowning him. I don't got nobody to clown him with. I'm just sitting there looking at him like, bro, take the do-rag off.
Yo, just add him to the Zoom right now, bro.
I can't.
Hey, go get that boy a shiesty, Leon. Get that boy a shiesty.
But no, I mean, honestly though, I mean, again, the fact that, I mean, as to wrap this up, again, the fact that Utica, and Utica's you could say is, I'm not gonna say it's a metropolis. It's not like it's not in New York City, it's not in LA, it's not in Chicago, but it's enough of a city where like you have your population, you have your inner city kids, you have kids from all walks of life. In the city, you have these inner city kids. I can say that because I lived in the city of Utica, and I've gone to these inner city schools before, because that's where I grew up there until maybe I was like 6 years old, but I still knew enough, and I played against those kids in basketball too. But you must have seen a lot of, you know, African American and POC kids at your game. So how important was it, especially for a guy like you, Frank, a Hall of Famer, to maybe be an inspiration for these kids to want to do the same later on in life?
No, I think that the inspiration and guys looking up to me, black, white, Spanish, whatever, I think you're right about that. I don't remember a lot of people of color being at our games.
No,
to be honest.
I don't either.
I thought we had a lot of people at our games. The last half of the year, I thought we had 1,000 to 2,000 people at our games. Maybe I'm tripping, but there were a lot of people there. right? But I can honestly say I don't remember a lot of young African Americans, young Spanish kids coming. But I do think, like, there's a kid that played hockey. Adam. He was our bat boy occasionally. Like, he was awesome. I still talk to his dad to this day. Like, dudes are gonna look up to you, regardless of what you're doing, good, bad, whatever you're doing. And I tell our guys this all the time: you got to do the right thing off the field because people are watching. It's not just family members. It's not just little brothers, little sisters. People are watching you. Their friends are watching you. Their friends are watching you. And what I will say is, being a black guy, I can't make mistakes. If I make mistakes, then they're portrayed as worse than some other people make mistakes. Same goes for everybody else in this chat, right? So I think that a lot of it, we can talk about the Hall of Fame, we can talk about me being a leader, me being a captain, whatever you want to call it. The people around me allowed me to be all that stuff. It wasn't just me.
Right.
My family, my teammates, the owners. Like, I was that because of those people.
That's you know, and again, like when it, like, you know, you do you, and like, I mean, trust me, if you were playing as like an abridged version of yourself where you're not strutting up to the plate, you know, hitting your chest twice, I mean, that ain't you. That's not the real Frank. I would have known that. And then same like for like like DJ and Lee. I mean, trust, like, if like for Lee, like, I know you came out to me. If I would force you to change it to something else, like, that ain't you. So so obviously, and with walk-up music, I know that's a touchy thing for some people. Like, I know their PA is like, if it's anywhere near dirty, I'm not gonna allow it over my speakers. Like, no, like, if that's you, then like, it's like, for example, walk-up songs are a direct reflection of you as a person. And I couldn't limit you. I couldn't limit DJ, new guy. In fact, I'm still calling him new guy 6 years later. It's absurd. But and Justin and Scottie and Scottie too, and KC too. So I mean, how important was it that, you know, you can know that, like, you could go to a team and know that they're gonna let you be yourself, and you don't have to worry about being who everyone else wants you to be.
I definitely played some of my best baseball at Utica, just off the fact of being around those guys, DJ Khalyd, Jay Wash, did the vibe it was on the mound and the bullpen, not stressing about a thousand different things. Definitely played a part in that.
Yeah, definitely.
So, any other closing thoughts before we conclude this special panel? I know it's a lot's happened over the past hour or so, but who wants to make some closing remarks before we wrap this up?
I'm just gonna say,
I'll add on that, just like, I had my best season ever at Utica by far, and it was just because of the environment, the culture, going to Tony's every day, chatting up with those guys.
Yeah,
Getting a lot, chatting up with those guys, you know, getting on the mound, having my third baseman come up, being like, "Yo, close this out so we can get out of here and go hang at the," I mean, like, on the porch. Yeah. It was a vibe. Whole summer was, so it was awesome. Thanks for everything.
I'm just gonna say that I think, and maybe this is an out-of-pocket statement, but I think if you put an entirely black Utica baseball team out there of people of the past, I don't think they get beat too often.
I mean, by the way, I made, like, when I made the all-time Blue Sox lineup, I mean, you had 1, 2, 3, half of those guys, including the pitching staff, were people of color. Half of the team.
I can tell you I've seen DJ play. I can tell you I've seen Scottie play. And I've obviously seen Segers and Green play. And then I think of the numbers that Khalyd put up.
Cedric on there.
Yeah, Cedric's obviously like. I don't think we lose many baseball games.
You got that right. Again, I mean, there's no place like it, baby. The U. And again, Friday's the 75th anniversary of Jackie Robinson Day and his breaking of the barrier, and it's really great. A lot's happened over the past hour, but to have all of you on, and Khalyd, unfortunately, his connection broke down, but to get him and the rest of you guys on. It was something that was in the works for a while, but for all of you that were here, I really appreciate the time. Thank you again. I hope all Blue Sox Nation really enjoys this. And, again, once a Blue Sox, you're always a Blue Sox. Am I right?
Oh yeah, sir.
Absolutely.
Yes, sir.
Guys, thank you so much. That does it for this episode of the Soxcast. Thank you to all of my guests here that you see on this panel here for the special Jackie Robinson Day episode of the Soxcast. Episode number, ironically, we're talking about the 75th anniversary of Jackie Robinson breaking the color barrier, but this is episode 25 of the Soxcast. I mean, we got to throw it up one time, everybody. We got to throw up to you, baby. For everyone here, thanks for tuning to the Soxcast. Catch you next week.